welcome to the People's Pension Stadium.
God, he's had his Weetabix.
It's Talk of the Town.
Episode
36.
36.
Yes, good afternoon and welcome to the People's Pension Stadium and welcome to episode 36 of Talk of the Town. Once again, I am joined by Crawley's Prince Harry. Woo! yeah, thanks to the crowd.
We've got a live audience today as well.
Yeah. About 6 people watching, not one of them interested whatsoever. And that's the online audience. That's not even people who are here. Yes, that's right. The Reds take on Mansfield in just under an hour's time in a game which could play heavily in shaping up the playoff mix if Crawley are going to make it. Many people believe they need to pick up points today. Of course, you can't be here as we are behind closed doors once again. Not long now, but we are for the time being behind closed doors. But you can, of course, watch the game live at home on iFollow.
In your heart, in spirit, in soul, you make every tackle, score every goal. You're part of it, wherever you are in the world. From the first minute until the last kick. Victories, heartbreaks, you're part of the fabric, the passion, devotion, supercharging emotion. For you, there is only one. Abiding loyalty, togetherness that is second to none. Follow every kick, every tackle, every goal. With access to live stream games and matchday commentary, with coverage spanning the globe. Behind the scene content, newsletters and match highlights. There is no better way for you to get closer to your club. And with iFollow sales supporting them, there's no better way to show your love. When you can't be there with iFollow.
Yes, of course. You know the drill by now. Season ticket holders should have your games already uploaded to your account so you can get the game. If you're not a season ticket holder, do not fear. Just £10. You can watch today's game. You have just under an hour's time to get your account all sorted, pay your £10 and follow the action. Where the Reds are going to get another 3 points, aren't they, boys?
Yes.
Definitely.
Took a while, didn't it? We're joined by Tom. We're going to have a chat about club issues. But first, Tom, let's have a chat about Salford. And we've got the last 2 games, two good wins, and the place must be buzzing, I suppose.
Yeah, it's always, as you know, it's always nice to be around the place when when there are points on the board. 3 points there, better than 1. And yeah, Salford was a big result. I think, it keeps the season alive. I know everyone around the club's been sort of hesitant to, put labels on what's a success for the rest of the season, what's not a success, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it keeps us ticking over, and it means that games like today are all still important. And, fundamentally, I know, John said it a few times, it's nice to be in March and sort of looking on the up rather than looking over your shoulder and not really being able to plan too much for next season. But yeah, all good vibes at the moment.
We're all happy. All right. And Harry, hang on, I asked a question.
Do you? I thought this was
a
bit of give and take.
Harry,
what's going on today? This is normally very slick.
Is it? You're not
Well,
saying
it gives off. It gives off.
Harry, a few games ago, we said we had a run of 4 games. All the teams who were above us in the league were very much in the playoff hunt. From them 4 games, we picked up 9 points, and that certainly off the field seems to have given people a lot of belief. I'm assuming on the field as well. But we've also said many times, and I know John's spoken many times about how everyone beats everyone in this league. We've had it done to us. We've lost to Grimsby twice, but equally we've gone away and beaten Forest Green, Tranmere, Bolton, all these teams. How important are these next 2 home games against teams who are actually below us in the league?
Yeah, I think they're massive. And I think even if you look beyond that, I think the next 7 or 8 games against teams virtually all in the bottom half. You obviously have the game today, Walsall, then it's Barrow away, and then I think Port Vale at home. I think maybe is the next one after that. We go to Scunthorpe. So they're all sides that are struggling. So if there's ever a time to flick that switch and be able to beat the teams below us, now's the time. Because like you said, we've lost to Grimsby twice. We dropped points to Southend, so we've probably given more points to the teams in the relegation mix than probably any other side in the league. Yes, the old saying of anyone can beat anyone in the division, but there's still got, in the back of my mind, there's an element of they're down there for a reason, and if you want to be competing at the right ends, they're the teams you should be, beating 2s and 3s, and at the moment we've struggled with that. So hopefully the next sort of month or so can be a sign that we've turned that corner and we can see off all those teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tom, in recent weeks we've maybe been a slightly different Crawley Town in terms of how we've won the game. We've got 2 clean sheets back to back, and been maybe based a victory on being good defensively rather than a team that scores loads of goals. Yep. Do you think that's something John's particularly worked on? Do you think that's been something where they've gone, do you know what, we've got to be strong at the back, or do you think it's just coincidence?
I think I wouldn't say it's a coincidence. I might butcher his saying, but what's it? John says good strikers win your games, good defences win your leagues.
Yeah.
And I think that's been evident in the last couple of games that, we do have an experienced back line of, obviously Tony Craig's dropped out, but, Joe Mack's come in and been seeing some comparisons of Maldini in his last few games. But, again, jokes aside, he's come in, he's done a really good job. And, there's experience with Glenn, obviously out warming up now. There's experience all across that back line. So, games where, for me anyway, I think we've been sort of near back to our best going forward to sort of how we were around Christmas and January. But, that helps when you've got a sort of a strong back line behind you where you can build from. So, yeah.
And I think we're on top of that. We're a few sort of, Ashley and Addison goals away from winning these last couple of games 2 and 3-0. I think he's probably beaten himself up a little bit. He's missed a hatful of chances, really. Yes, he still contributes massively to how effective we are. But I think it's not just like it's like a smash and grab. Last Saturday certainly wasn't that at all up at Tranmere. The full performance, kind of, we're warranting the 3 points. It's not just you're going, oh, we did win, but we got away with one there. I think we're full.
It's
value
fine margins, isn't it? I think it's all, again, full of the cliches today, but over the course of a season, luck, all that sort of stuff levels out, and fundamentally you finish where you deserve to finish. These last couple of games, have we ridden our luck at times? Yeah, but then equally, as you say, Nadders probably could have had a few. It goes back to the penalties that Tom Nichols missed. You could potentially be adding more points on there. So, you mentioned the South End games, the fact that Grimsby did the double over us, but then we've done the double over Tranmere. Yeah. It's what it is. It's League Two for a reason, and it levels it out.
Tom, you're going to stick around. We're going to chat some club issues first, but let's take a look at how Joe McDeany and the rest of his Crawley teammates got on against Salford in Tuesday night.
Torre with the throw. Tom Clark has to be quick. Breathing down his neck was Ashley Naddison. Away by Towell. And quickly onto that is Thomas Asante. Options in there for Salford here as it loops over everybody. Torre now keeping things moving. Quickly on from Coots. A little too quickly. That final pass, and Crawley can clear it away through Glenn Morris. Encouraging start there, seeing Anderson with the cross, and that's an important deflection away from trouble. Over the top he goes, and running away is Naddison. And Naddison is in, and that's a big save. That is a big save. And he keeps Crawley out. Naddison racing away here from Tom Clark. To be very careful, couldn't bring him down. Spin of the ball, seen in the end. Poked through from Hessenthaler. 3 wins in the last 5 league games for Crawley. They start the evening in 12th place. Asante, that's a great pass for Hunter now. A good save from Morris. Asante, still he goes on, and an important block by Jordan Tunnicliffe, but his pass here was delightful. And Hunter should have been making more of that chance. Time for Powell. And back they go. Morris with the clearance. And Nichols has done well. Tom Nichols! And he's there again, and he will score. And into double figures for the campaign. Tom Nichols, who scored the winner at Tranmere last time out. has opened the scoring here, away from Clark, and the little poke there away from Jordan Turnbull. Big save at first, but reacting the quickest. Crawley in front. Here's Coots again. That's a good pass. And Henderson can't take his chance. Found superbly the former Rochdale man. Bit of a toe poker towards goal. Crawley coming forward. Whenever they do, they look dangerous. What's he done from Maguire? Drew. Good ball in, and the header. He's into the net, but it's not going to count for Ashley Nadesan. Terrific piece of play here from Maguire Drew, and the cross on the money. Crawley get a victory tonight. It'd be a good victory and a milestone one as well for their manager, John Yems, since he came back. His 50th game today since his return. Oh, it's parried out, and in the end, Henderson can't finish off. Like Nichols in the first half, where he capitalised on a rebound. It's the link up with Nadesan. Hesketh, it should have been 2-0. Here's Towell. Tom Clark. Asante. Space now for Lowe to work with. And he pulls it back well. And it's a good save, and Henderson's there. And it's off the line. Well, Salford must be wondering how on earth they haven't scored tonight. And Ian Henderson should have been doing more. The yellow card goes his way. Fall by Powell. It's a shot on, it is, and it's off the post. It's a terrific effort from Jake Hessenthaler. Crawley that close to making it 2-0. With that one goal lead, Salford's always in this, but Nadesan is away. It's Nadesan all on his own. Can he finish it off once and for all? No, he can't. Sent through, and Nadesan had time to weigh up his options in one way and then the other.
Yeah, great result on Tuesday night. And it leaves the Reds looking up the table and hope for a late playoff push. Tom, behind closed doors, but it's coming to an end, isn't it?
Yeah.
Have you, the club started planning towards looking at getting crowds back in and looking towards next season?
The short answer, yes. We had a league meeting on Thursday where a lot of that was dominated, obviously, around the return of fans. At present, they're not looking at anything before May 17th. So that obviously would lead us to, without talking about it being too presumptuous, they were talking about potentially moving those playoff semi-final legs to a date whereby fans could be included in that, because I think at the moment it was split where like the first leg could have fans but the second leg couldn't, and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, obviously within reason, you can't be too presumptuous, but season ticket wise, match ticket wise, all the usual sort of operations of the club in terms of what goes into putting on a season, we're looking at of some form of normality and seeing what happens. Really, I think this season we've proved that we can adapt to near enough whatever comes to us and whatever's thrown at us. So yeah, we'll be in a position where we're ready, sort of regardless of what the outcome is.
And I know a few fans. Sometimes we get a few interesting games in pre-season. Have anything been tied up in terms of that you can probably say or can't say about pre-season fixtures, or because these are the kind of games that fans might be eyeing up as their first ones back?
Yeah, the pre-season schedule is normally dominated by pitch renovations. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I don't know where Ben's over there, so all right. We're putting those final touches to the renovation plans at the moment, and then that will obviously then dominate how many games we can have here. And then it's sort of like a domino effect of that will then see who's available for fixtures, all that sort of stuff. John's obviously got good contacts for decent clubs. So yeah, hopefully we'll have some decent fixtures here at the stadium and locally as well.
And finally, Tom, this year is the 125th anniversary of the club. I don't know how much we can divulge, but we are sort of planning to mark that occasion, aren't we?
Yeah, so without giving too much away, obviously, as you said, 125th year. So across the board, I'm trying to think of what I can say without being too...
I was going to say, maybe if anyone has anything of interest historically, because it's something maybe... There's certain individuals that have a lot of history about the club. If anyone has anything, I suppose send it in to yourself and me, and we can start using it.
Yeah, we're looking. Obviously, it's an important milestone for the club. We're looking to mark that across the board, from retail to the match day itself. All the little gimmicks of what we can do to mark it. We're looking at doing. So yeah, if there is anyone that's got any sort of suggestions of historical moments outside of the usual, obviously in terms of the club archive, we've got all the Man United stuff, and now we've got
Derby once,
Derby, Stoke apparently we played, but if our history goes back a long time before that, so
you can almost hear the excitement from John Barnett's
Hello, Barney.
Just going to a spare room. It's Crawley Shrine.
We'll be back with the manager John Yems right after this very short break from the People's Pension.
Since 2017, £30 million has been lost to pension scammers. That's about 26,000 Premier League season tickets. During these uncertain times, it's more important than ever to defend your hard-earned money. Be on the ball to anyone contacting you out of the blue. Find out more about pension scams and how to avoid them by visiting our website.
We are joined now by the manager, John. John, thank you very much for joining us. We had you here a few weeks ago, and there was a little bit of doom and gloom. We was talking about maybe some negativity from the fans, but two great results. Hopefully, put that to bed.
You like to think so, but I still think there's a little bit too much of it about, to be honest with you. It's very difficult. We come into the business end of the season, and all games, I keep saying to people, like today, these was one of my tips to go up today, Mansfield.
Same.
And I think they're a very, very good side. And it's a compliment that we're going to places and beating some of the sides that are around us. And when you see what's happened to the squad and the injuries we've had and all this, sometimes I just think there's certain fans that you don't care what you do to please them, they're not happy. Well, to me, they're not fans. They're just people that seem to want to moan at things.
Well, listen, there isn't to not be happy about. Two wins on the trot
honestly,
against top sides and two clean sheets as well. It must have been particularly pleasing.
Well, it is. You go around to other clubs and they're talking about the good things that we're doing here, and we've got some good players in there. But most importantly, all the lads are trying for the club. Nobody wants to leave. If they get sold, that's a different thing. But nobody wants to leave the club. If not, I'm stopping players coming here. But sometimes I don't read the forums and all that, but it gets very disheartening when people keep telling me that certain people are saying the same things week in, week out. It doesn't bother me. I've been around too long, but sometimes you just wish, why don't you just shut up and get on and enjoy what we're doing?
On the pitch, the way I think we've developed throughout the season, how happy have you been with the defensive record over the last 4 weeks or so?
Yeah, well, my comments are always the same. But when I took over last year, we was criticised for being too defensive because we weren't let go.
Yeah.
You start with a point, you finish with a point. That's what you should all start off. That's how a good defence will win you a league. Strikers win your games. But if you're solid, by defence, I'm talking about from top to bottom. Because you say to the lads, who's the first defender? Yeah, I'll ask you, who's the first defender on a pitch?
Goalkeeper.
Right, see, that's what most people say. It's whoever loses the ball. So your next job is to get the ball back, or your nearest partners to get the ball back, and then we defend from there. So them little things you're putting into it, and it sounds basics, but that's how basic it is. If we all get them jobs right, then let's go forward with it. But of course, you've got to be pleased the way that Joe's come in and Tony's on the bench today, and Dallo's been out. Big Manny's been knocking on the door. We've had a couple of Josh Docherty got injured at a bad time. All these things that happen, but you get on with it. George has been fantastic going back at left back. And it's just a credit to everybody, because I think if you put three of them in goal, they'd all moan. They're just playing goal because they want to play football.
And today we go with an unchanged lineup again. And I suppose from a manager's point of view, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And we've been very good for the last two games, so we've gone with it again.
Well, that's what I say. You don't change. Why reinvent the wheel? Why try and be clever? Why try and do things? Obviously, we're nowhere near what you want to be, and as soon as you start thinking that you've arrived, it's got a great way football coming around, kicking you straight out the goalies. So you got to make sure that when you keep doing what we're doing, we work hard every day, and the players are working hard every day at it, good or bad. If you're going to get beat, make sure you get beat honestly.
Has it been nice to have a period of time away from the coach and the long journeys?
Not really, because we had a game in midweek. You're still, you don't switch off.
No,
That's part of the job. I wouldn't change any of that.
Mm-hmm.
But when you got clubs that won't let you change kick-off times, like Carlisle won't change a kick-off time. I don't think Barrow will, and all that. Listen, I can't understand why they won't, but that's up to them. But it just gives you another little bit of incentive. In the current climate with the COVID, you try and help everybody, as we do.
It does make a huge difference. We even noticed it kicking off at 7 rather than 7:45.
Well, Exeter seem to get an early kick-off every week.
Yeah, but it's the getting home more than anything else. Because you look, we got Easter week. I think we go up on a Tuesday to Carlisle,
and then
Scunthorpe.
come back, and then we go to Scunthorpe on the Thursday. And then we got an home game on the Monday. So when people are going, oh, the squad looks this, the squad... Well, of course, you'd be knackered if you were doing that, you know.
I think we've discussed it before on the show, because you're right, people don't really see that. We'll go to Carlisle on the Tuesday. We won't get back till probably 2-3 o'clock on the Wednesday. Yeah. And then we're travelling again literally the next
And all these lads ain't living in Crawley. Do you know what I mean? People have got lives in different corners of the country.
Yeah, it's your family time. And listen, footballers are footballers, but... I wouldn't change it, but for the same reason, you're on a coach. It doesn't matter how long you get in the game. It is the most boring, mundane thing you can do. But listen, let's all said and done. You'd rather be doing that than sitting around doing nothing at home. And all the while you're winning, the journey don't seem so long, does it?
Yeah, that's it. Earlier in the season, you spoke about Tom Nichols when he first came in, and you said other managers have had him and hadn't really known how to use him. He's been fantastic all season, in my opinion. But the last few weeks in particular, he's been a real sort of shining light. How important is he to us?
I made a statement, as I say. I remember when I was in my Exeter days, Tom was a little toddler. He was running, I think he was in the under-12s or something, and he looked good there. And I've kept my eye on him, tried to get him to Bournemouth. And Tom's Tom, if he could run around in a phone box, and he just loves the game of football, and he rubs off on everybody. But compliment that he's fitted in, but he's also a compliment that he's been here and with all the knockbacks he had. But we're a team full of knockbacks, to be honest with you.
You can tell he's the kind of determined character is, because I think Crawley have had so many big number 9s in the past, but he competes better than some of the best that I've seen through the club in terms of getting his body about. He's got a great leap on him.
Well, Tom's got a lot of things that you can't coach, and i.e. that's desire, that's want to win, that's enjoying his football, and I'm a mainstay of that. I try and enjoy it sometimes if the referees let me. But listen, it's all about enjoyment, and he rubs off, and especially on the young people that we've got in and around the place. But, you look at George, you look at Tony, you look at Josh Wright, who people ain't seen, the best of, or ain't seen enough of him yet. But they're good footballers, they're experienced footballers, and if you're going to build for the future or get young uns in around you, you need good pros, not only playing. It's off the pitch, it's around the training ground, it's setting them the good habits. And that's what they do, to be fair.
Yeah, fantastic. John, thank you very much. Join us, appreciate your time. Let's take a look back at an absolute thriller at the One Call Stadium earlier in the season when the Reds took on Mansfield.
Corner kick. In comes that corner. It's bouncing around. Is it in the back of the net? It is. Mansfield lead. It's Ryan Sweeney with the goal. His first of the season. There may be a few questions as to how that's made its way in, but it's a big goal for Nigel Cluff's side. An odd one, but an important one. Mansfield lead by 1-0. That could mean a lot. Someone's going to move. Lapsley is the intended ball here. It might come back towards Lapsley. It is Lapsley with a shot, and it's a very good save from Morris. Still a chance though with Lapsley again, and it's how has that stayed out? That's the question. Lapsley, I think, is appealing for a penalty there. The referee's having none of it. Well, Lapsley had plenty of chances. This is a great save from the first shot. It's picked back up by Mansfield, back to Lapsley. And I think that's another very good save. It's either a great save or off the post there. Mansfield looking very good at the moment. Complete control of the game. Keeper's a long way out to deal with it as well. Could be a couple of people up for this. I think that's a body down there. We'll just double check in a second as the ball comes through. Oh, that could have been a goal. And in fact, I think the referee has pulled this back anyway, regardless of the Maris shot. Crawley will have hoped that that was pulled up a little bit earlier. Hopefully everyone is all right. In comes the free kick. A little bit chaotic, still away here. Pretty well by Crawley. Nadesan tries to get a touch to it. Airborne goes the ball. Nadesan again. Oh, that's lovely. That's a great ball. This could be a big chance for Waters. It's an equaliser for Crawley. Nadesan's touch was absolutely superb. And Max Waters goes through to equalise for the away side. His 8th goal in 11 games. That was a lovely finish. But just watch this touch here. The first touch is up. The second one is through. And Max Waters makes it 1 apiece. What a goal that was. Things as it stands, equal. Here's Bowery. Bowery gets through. It's going to drop for Lapsley. Oh, he's missed it! How has he missed it? That's the question. Tom Lapsley has put it over from what must have been 3 or 4 inches. Great work here from Bowery. Gets away from his man at the byline. Oh, Tom Lapsley. That's going to be one they discuss in the dressing room after, I think. Unbelievable. Crawley here on this left-hand side. They'll win a corner. In comes that corner. Back up into the sky. It's been chaotic in both penalty areas. Dallison, the first league goal of his career. His first goal of any sort since August last year. That's not what he's there to do, but that is a lovely finish from Dallison. Mansfield don't clear it, and it just drops nicely for him. It's almost instinctive rather than planned. He just throws his left boot at it. And Crawley have come from behind here to lead. 2-1. Bowery once again, he's caused a lot of problems here, Jordan Bowery. That's a superb challenge though. Crawley looking more and more confident. Forward it comes, down towards Waters. Oh, that's a great goal! We talked about instinct for Dallasons. That's exactly what Max Waters has done there. Hessenthaler plays it forward, and Waters just, well, beats the keeper audaciously. The challenge on Bowery, by the way, was absolutely superb. Forward it comes, and look at Waters here. One thing on his mind, and he pulls it off superbly. Crawley go 3-1 up. Is that the match? It's certainly a sensational substitution appearance here from Waters. Mansfield, it's got to be said, do look a little bit shell-shocked at times in this game. They looked so good in that first half, easily the better of the two teams. Can they create anything? Can they get back into this game? We thought it'd be a good game. It's proven so far, unless, of course, you're a Mansfield fan. Here's Lapsley. Oh, 3-2! He missed an easy chance not too long ago. And now he's pulled off an absolutely superb finish to make it 3-2. And Mansfield back in this game. One player who can miss from inches and then stroke home a beauty like that. That's a great goal. What can Mansfield do now? Chance. Flicked on. Crawley just need to concentrate here. Mansfield need to throw everything at it. Drops down. Cook! Unbelievable! Absolutely unbelievable. Andy Cook has got a 93rd minute equaliser. Yet another brilliant goal in this game. What a match we have seen. The guts, the audacity to take it from there. One on the chest. 3 apiece. What a game this has been. And what a substitution Andy Cook has proved to be.
Vibes about you.
Yes, welcome back. We are joined now by Gary Smith. Gary, thank you for joining us.
Welcome.
I don't know why I sort of brought you in and took you back out again then. Let's just have a look at that lineup very quickly. It's unchanged once again. Glenn Morris starts in goal. Archie Davis and George Frankham are the fullbacks. Jordan Tunnicliffe and Joe McDeany are the centre halves. In midfield, Jack Powell and Jake Hessenthaler with Jake Hesketh and Jordan Maguire-Drew. And then up front, Tom Nichols and Ashley Naderson. Remembered it.
I don't want Joe Mack to have some kind of stinker this afternoon.
Yeah, well,
he goes home and watches Talk of the Town and sees Joe bigging him up.
Let's start on that, Gary. We'll talk about Joe McNerney. He's come in replacement of Tony Craig, who's been injured. Tony Craig has been a leader for us. He's played throughout the season, but on the bench today, going to struggle to get back into the side because Joe McNerney really probably undroppable at the moment after his last few performances.
I think all of them are, to be honest, at the moment, Joe, and it's no surprise once again, echoing what we said on Tuesday, no surprise again to see an unchanged lineup. But yeah, I spoke to Joe after the game on Tuesday, bigged him up. He had his critics, I think, after the game at Morecambe, like we said the other day, where, I don't know whether people felt he was culpable for 1 or 2 of the goals or the whole defensive unit were. But, I think Joe would walk into any other side in League Two as one of the mainstays of a side, wouldn't he? And it's wonderful to be able to bring somebody like that off of the bench or bring them in when there's an injury or a suspension like that has been to Tony. And I think if Crawley go on and win again this afternoon, Tony's not just going to walk straight back into the side. And that speaks volumes, I think, about the way Joe is playing.
And it's a fair point when you think about it. We've got Tony Craig and Tom Dallison, both not fit. And actually, we've been okay without them. And you just sort of thought that would derail your season a few weeks ago.
Which is surprising. Kind of what I like about Joe Mack, and I think he very much has understood his role over the 5-6 years he's been here, that, he's fighting for places a lot of the time. Every time he's come in, he's done a really good job. He's a very calm bloke. I don't think he goes home and beats himself up too much if he has a bad game, or bigs himself up too much if he has a good game. Do you know what I mean? He's so chilled. It's nice to have that. You just know he's not carrying too much weight on his shoulders or anything like that. And he's just been the perfect fit at the time we really needed someone to step in and step up.
I also think, Harry, as well, and I don't mean this disrespectfully to Joe whatsoever. I saw him many times at Woking as well when I used to cover Woking games. I think Joe would be the first to admit he's maybe not the best footballing central defender. But if you want somebody in there who's going to head the ball clear and kick the ball clear and stay as tight as you like to the forwards of the other side and not give them an inch, Joe's your man.
Sort of bloke would end his own nan as long as it stopped the ball going in the goal. Don't really know where that comes from. Anyway,
God.
As long as it goes in. Don't heading your nan here on Talk of the Town. Another part that sort of seems to have been stable the last few weeks is the midfield. Sort of like four across midfield. It's quite fluid, isn't it? Like Jake Hesketh doesn't necessarily stay out wide. He chips in the middle.
Yeah.
I'm tipping him to score goals today. At least one goal. I quite fancy him. But you were telling us sort of really the midfield needs to start chipping in a bit more with goals.
Yeah, I just think they need to contribute a little bit more in terms of goals. I mean, sooner or later there will be a game, it might be this afternoon, where the defensive unit of the opposition will shut out Nichols and Naderson, and then you've obviously got to look around the rest of the pitch as to where your goals are going to come from. Tom Nichols obviously on fire, as we mentioned, then got the winner on Tuesday. Naderson's chipped in with a few goals recently as well. But between that midfield 4 that are in there today, there's only 2 goals between them. Hesketh yet to score, Maguire-Drew yet to score. I know he's only been here a short time, but 1 goal for Hess, 1 goal for Powell. You just think you need a little bit more from them, and it might boost their confidence a little bit more as well. I read that people have been saying on the forum that Hesketh is getting back to his best, 100% fit before, like he was before his injury. And I agree with you, Joe, that if he can get a goal this afternoon, maybe even 2, because I think Harry's had a few quid on that he might.
I think Joe. I tried to talk Joe out of it, funnily enough.
Listen, Joe doesn't bet on football because he's an employee of a football club, and therefore he's not allowed. But if I could have a bet, I would, of course, lump on. I'm not sure I'd lump on Hesketh to score twice, but yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Moving on.
My thinking today is, when we went up to Mansfield, they played a very high line, and Max Waters
had a field day.
Really got in behind them. For me, I think they're going to look at Nichols, they're going to look at Naderson and go, do you know what? They need to step up a little bit deeper, and that should create space for the likes of Powell Hesketh.
Funny enough, before we get Gary's thoughts on that, if you saw Richie Wellens' post-match comments after the game on Tuesday, he must have said Ashley Naderson's name about 10 or 15 times, because he said, all I said to my players today was, all they'll do is they'll win the ball, turn us in behind, and Naderson's quick. He's very, very quick. And he said that we never learn. So eventually, like Gary said, there's going to be a side that come here and just sit in, shut up shop. And that's when we've really struggled. The Orient game, the Stevenage game. If a side sits on the edge of their own box, we need to be a little bit better breaking them down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Let's turn our attention to Mansfield. We're going to hear from Nigel Cluff very shortly.
Yeah.
Not live. We're not that big time. Yeah, that would be some coup.
We have had the moose.
That'd be bigger than the mule from Talksport. So Mansfield, I think most people would agree, they've been very disappointing this season.
Yeah.
They spent the first half of the season sort of in a bit of a big budget, in a relegation scrap. But Nigel Cluff's come in, he's dragged him out of that. They've sort of plateaued a little bit, but they had a great win against Cheltenham.
Yeah, they really did. Yeah.
In his preview, we're going to see it, but he said basically this is two inconsistent teams, and he's probably right, isn't he?
Yeah, I think if it's two inconsistent sides, Crawley are probably the more consistent of two inconsistent sides, then, as it were. Yeah. But both sides, like you say, Joe, come into it on the back of big wins. Cheltenham, after they went a goal up at Mansfield Tuesday, would have been fancying their chances, and then Mansfield hit them with a 3-goal blitz, much like we did to Mansfield when we went up there. I was talking to Ken when I first arrived at the ground today. He always reverts back to a comment from Nigel Cluff of years ago that at least taking a job at Derby County meant he didn't have to go to the likes of Crawley Town and places like that anymore. So Ken's always quite keen to rub his nose in bits and pieces. But strangely, they are a side this year that have more away wins than home wins. Maybe because of the way they play away from home. They play that sort of diamond formation in midfield. McLaughlin sits in, just ahead of the back four. Then there's the two wide men, and then there's Law just behind the two front men.
I was going to bring him up. He is some player, by the way. I mean, he's only 18, maybe 19. A ridiculous player who definitely won't be in League Two next season. Jason Law. Is it Jason? Yeah. And he wouldn't have played against us when we went up there earlier on in the season.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of, you're probably looking at your Heston Tyler, someone like that is going to be marking him. He's going to have a busy afternoon for sure.
Yeah. But they do have more wins away from home, which I say could be attributed to the way they play slightly differently away from home. I agree with you, Joe. I think they'll try and keep things tight this afternoon. They'll try and sniff out Nichols and Naderson. They're normally quite a big physical defensive unit, aren't they? They've got a very, very experienced goalkeeper behind them in Stetch as well, formerly at Yeovil and Luton and places like that. It's going to be tough this afternoon. I am going to say that Crawley will edge it.
I was going to say, what's your prediction?
Yeah, well, I'm going to stick with what I said on Tuesday evening and totally ignore my wife's prediction, which was 1-0 again. She got it right on Tuesday. What do I know? And I'm going to say that Crawley will win it by the odd goal in 3. I don't think there'll be a clean sheet today, but Crawley will win it 2-1.
And that would be 3 wins on the bounce if we do. When was the last time we done that?
February 2018.
Okay, so last time. Harry Kill, was it?
Harry Kill.
Okay,
also, it'll be a 4th consecutive home clean sheet if Crawley do get it this afternoon.
Right,
no, that must have been a long time.
When was the first time that happened?
No idea when that last happened.
John Barnett. Calling John Barnett.
Calling John Barnett. 4 clean sheets
time
on the
ago.
trot.
Yeah. At home, that is. At home.
Yeah. Gary, thank you very much for joining us. You, of course, can join Gary and Tony Vesey on the commentary on iFollow in 20 minutes' time or so. Gary, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Coming up on the show, we will also hear from Ashley Naderton. But now let's hear from Nigel Cluff in the build-up to this game.
Crawley, they've had a bit of a dip in form since the departure of Max Watters to Cardiff City earlier this year. Has that changed them much in terms of their play and their style, Nigel, would you say?
Well, I think when you lose one of your major players, creatively, goal-scoring wise, and that sort of thing, then it's bound to affect the balance of the team. But I think it's probably what we saw in the game at the One Call Stadium. We were on top 1-0 up, they came out and scored 3 goals, similar to what we did against Cheltenham very quickly, and then we got back in the game late on. So I think the 2 very unpredictable teams at the moment. I think we're certainly suffering from inconsistency with our results, so it should make for an entertaining game, I hope.
I think John Yems has got them playing in a real workmanlike fashion, hasn't he?
Yeah, and they've still got some threat. Tom Nichols is still a threat. And at home, always, we played at Crawley over the years with Burton, going back to probably the Dr. Martin South, and it's a difficult place to go, always has been.
What will the approach be from Mansfield?
Same as we approach all the games, even the ones we've lost. At Barrow, we're going forward, we're creating more chances. Bradford, we were. Harrogate, we were. So it'll be the same approach, but just the emphasis to the players: don't make silly mistakes. If we don't do that, and we asked the lads on Wednesday, after the game, we sort of said Wednesday morning, we said, what's the difference? You know, and most of them said we didn't make any silly mistakes against Cheltenham, and that's it. If we don't do that, if somebody scores a good goal against us, we'll hold our hands up, but don't give anything away, and we're in with a chance with every game.
Thanks as ever. See you in Sussex.
Pleasure.
Yeah, very interesting there from Nigel Cluff. Before we chat about that and this afternoon's game, a huge thank you once again to our sponsors here on Talk of the Town, Mr. Declutter. No mess, no stress. Mr. Declutter, Mansfield, a huge thank to them to continuing to put the show on every week, allowing us to do so. So thank you to them. Please support them if you are needing any sort of garage clearances, loft clearances, house clearances, you name it, they do it. So that's Mr. Declutter. Let them know you've come from us and they might give you a nice little discount on any job. So huge thank you to Mr. Declutter. Harry, we just heard from Nigel Cluff there. He was saying that he highlighted Crawley as somewhere who's really tough to come. He said it always has been a tough place to come. Teams not relishing coming here, particularly probably in the form we're in.
Yeah, I think so. I think teams are obviously maybe looking again at the defensive record and going, okay, there's probably a place where in the past, at the start of the season, you thought maybe you come down here, score a couple. The games we were winning, we might be winning 3-2, 4-2, where we've gone the opposite way now. And just, yeah, like John kind of said, being solid at the back, it's such a good foundation. And yeah, teams don't want to come. We're a long way away. You've got to remember from a lot of other clubs in the country. Normally, we're one of us and Exeter, like the longest trips teams do. No one. It's not a big amazing stadium or anything like that. So I can see why it's one of the ones on the fixture list. Yeah, that you just go, oh, no one wants Crawley away.
When we went there earlier in the season, it was a pretty drab first half, but we came out flying second half, and Max Waters got on the score sheet a couple of times and really sort of turned the game on its head. But we did concede 3. Do you see today as being a completely different game? Maybe both sides learning from that previous game and maybe being a little bit tighter, adapting to their
I think
styles?
Eventually it's gonna crack. This run of 1-0s either way kind of thing is gonna go, and we'll probably see a blockbuster 5-4 or something like that. And everything we've said in the last hour or so will completely go out the window. It could well be today with the amount of sort of attacking talent on the pitch. I maybe thought it was going to be Tuesday, funnily enough, but you look at today, and it'll be interesting to see what happens now in how we react if we go to a goal down. We said this a few weeks ago. We're not massive fans of how we respond, but maybe getting a few wins under our belt and easing off the pressure might just mean that everyone kind of calms down and the football's less cagey.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to hear from Jake Hesketh shortly, but he's now getting a little run in the side and starting to look a little bit fitter. For me, he works hard, he battles, he scraps. We just maybe just need to see a little bit of the quality, which he definitely possesses in the final third.
Yeah, I mean, you look at his background, and pound for pound, he should be one of the best footballers in the squad. And you've got to remember, he's putting himself in the shop window here as well, more so than probably anyone else, in that he's out of contract at a Premier League club in the summer. He's going
to be looking for a movie here or somewhere
either here
else.
or somewhere above that. So it's rare that you get that. We haven't got many loan signings in the squad like that. So he's got to play for himself. He's got to play for the team as well. So it's good that I think John obviously trusts him. I thought maybe when he got injured, that might be the last we see of him. But fair play to him, because he's 24 or so. He's bounced around different clubs. He hasn't really settled anywhere, but you wouldn't necessarily know that from his performances. He's a very gritty player, and it's for everything he does good that's technical. He's someone like, I find, if you were playing 5-a-side against him, you just wouldn't want to play against him. He's got that
moving.
And he's got that little sharp edge to him. Not that he's going to go and get sent off every 5 times a season, but just someone that lets you know he's there. Yeah.
I think he adds a nice balance to this midfield, because you've got the likes of him and Hessenthaler, who are everywhere. They'll scrap. They'll
get the ball to Powley.
Yeah, whereas Powley maybe isn't as mobile around the pitch, but also he possesses that little bit of quality to unlock a defence. Jordan Maguire-Drew, something that's really stood out for me is his delivery into the box. Yeah. He has that quality. I like the balance of having those 4 in midfield, providing for Nichols and Addison.
It's very nice. I was probably a little bit harsh on Maguire in his first couple of games here, where I thought he's very one-dimensional. He's only got a left foot, and even now I find myself going, "Oh, he's going to cut back on his left. Don't do it. And all of a sudden, he's sold me. He's sold the defender and gone down the right-hand side and got a good cross in. So he's a bag of tricks, and you don't really know what you're going to get from him. And I think if he's someone for me that if he can have a good 20 minutes at the start of the game, you go, yeah, he'll be good for the whole 90.
Finally, before we just move on to hear from Jake Hesketh, I've said it. I seem to say it every week at the moment. This game could define our season, and we said it at Grimsby, and we got the defeat. And I got to be honest, I left Grimsby thinking, you know what, that's probably our lot this year. We've bounced back and got 2 unbelievably good wins against tough opposition. But it's these sort of games we need to be picking up points, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, I think when we stood here a couple of Saturdays ago, and we were going, okay, Exeter, Morecambe, Tranmere, you know, we'd have taken your arm off for 6 points from that. Now we stand there in a better position, and we're going Mansfield, Walsall, Barrow. Now, that's got to get something going in you if you're a Crawley fan to go, it's there for the taking. Do you know what I mean? It's there for us to go on a run of...
start beating these teams.
Yeah, it's there for us to go 7-8 games unbeaten and win 3 or 4 games on the bounce.
Particularly today, you mentioned it just off air, that Salford are not playing today. They're in Papa John's
At
Trophy
Wembley.
action. Today is a chance with them not playing to make up points on them and maybe others around them.
Yeah, and I think Harrogate are directly above us. I think they've got a tricky game, maybe Forest Green away, somewhere like that. Salford not playing, so it's a chance potentially with a win today. We can leapfrog Harrogate and go level on points with Salford. They've got a better goal difference than us, but again, we then I think suddenly go from being a side that only Crawley fans see as, maybe we're dark horses and we've got a chance. Suddenly, if you're in 8th or 9th position in the table, other teams will be going, Crawley are the ones in form and are knocking on the door and trying to get in there at the last minute.
The lads here are just behind us doing their final preparations with Joel, the sports scientist. Whilst they do that, before they head inside, let's have a look at what Jake Hesketh had to say when he caught up with the media team at training earlier in the week.
Jake, 2 good wins recently and a good run for the lads. How have you been finding things?
Yeah, obviously, as you said, it's been obviously 2 good wins, obviously 2 good teams. Obviously, Exeter game in there. I think obviously we played well at Morecambe as well, so I think we're on a good run at the minute. We settled down, playing some good football, playing obviously well defensively and creating quite a few chances.
We know that you're obviously on loan this season and you started life brightly at the Reds, but injury kind of set in and halted things. What kind of happened there and how did you recover with that?
Yeah, so I pulled my hamstring after Grimsby at home, the home game at Grimsby. I think the training session after that, pulled my hamstring. Was out 3 or 4 weeks, played Boxing Day, and then the 2 days after Boxing Day did it again. It's just been probably 2-3 months in total, which has been a bit frustrating for me. I've had a few problems with him in the past. It's not ideal, but obviously after Boxing Day, I sat down with Harry and Joel, we made a strengthening programme that was more aimed at obviously rehabbing the current injury and making sure it didn't happen again. So touch wood, feel sharp now, both hamstrings feel strong, so yeah, I'm happy.
But you certainly started life well and you're back to that kind of form recently. You've been looking great alongside the likes of Nico and Nadders up front, some good relationships there.
Yeah, definitely. I think obviously it always takes a few games to get back in. Obviously I went straight back in at Colchester and obviously it's good to be playing, but I can always tell it myself when I'm not quite there, but the last week I felt really good, and I think once you play regularly with people you kind of build that relationship. Obviously it comes from training into games, and I think it's always easy when you're obviously linking up with good players. Obviously Nico, obviously Nadders likes running behind, and obviously 2 midfielders and George from the other side. I think we've all kind of got good movement and good relationships.
And obviously we've built confidence now going into Saturday's game with you being a key part in 2 recent wins against high opposition.
Yeah, as you said, obviously we've had since Exeter we've obviously had 4 teams in and around the playoffs, so to get 9 points and to be disappointed not to get anything at Morecambe, I think shows where we're at the minute. I think obviously the gaffer touches on when he does interviews about being away from relegation. I think there's the balance. Obviously we knew we were dropping down a bit, but I think with a bit of running confidence, I think all the lads look at it as keep going, keep winning games and see where it takes us.
And we know it's been a season like no other, but how have you been finding things at Crawley at training and amongst the lads?
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. Obviously, better now that I'm back involved, back playing. Obviously, it's frustrating being injured, but yeah, it's really good to settling in. Obviously, so many games that we just keep on thick and fast, which is definitely better than training this Friday.
And finally, Jake, obviously Saturday's game, it's good to be back at home after some long away trips.
Yeah, we've had a few long runs and there's a few around the corner, but yeah, it's always nice to have a little run at home games and back in our stadium and hopefully make it a fortress again and go on a good run.
Best of luck for Saturday. Cheers, mate.
Thank you.
That is almost all we have time for.
Strong show.
Strong show. Always a strong show. Before we go, It's a very special occasion here on Talk of the Town.
Yeah,
we're going to invite Nick the Geordie on. Here you go. You have to stand here. Okay. Now, Nick the Geordie is a face.
This is a debut.
Oh, he's got a mic.
36 shows
He pops up every now and again, but we never actually speak to him. It's your birthday tomorrow.
It is my birthday.
Yes. 45?
Yeah, nearly 32.
Oh.
32.
So it is Nick the Geordie's birthday. Nick, we're going to give you an opportunity to talk about the filming company on your birthday. Tell everyone what the filming company does.
Putting me on the spot. So we've been here with this crazy guy and Harry Maynard doing Talk of the Town, going the length and breadth of every fast food joint and every service station you could possibly imagine. It's definitely been an experience.
And you had no idea what you were getting yourself into.
And he really
if it wasn't for the fans, I wouldn't be doing the experience.
Well,
but,
we have a cake for you, Nick.
A football cake.
And the candles won't light, but we're all going to sing Happy Birthday to you. Happy Birthday to you. Happy Birthday, dear Nick the Geordie. Happy birthday to you. Blow your imaginary candles.
I just love that 9 months ago he never knew what football was, and now he's getting a football
I'm not
cake
going to
for his
lie.
birthday.
This is Danny the Geordie, Nick's wife, who's come to surprise him with a cake here live on Talk of the Town.
I'll be completely honest. In my 32 years, this is the first time I have ever had a football cake.
Nick doesn't actually. He didn't like football until a few months ago.
How was Exeter away?
He didn't even. He went to Exeter and sat in the van. That's
Yes,
how,
that is
now
a true
he loves
story.
it. He can't get enough.
Now you're fully invested.
Nick, thank you very much to you, Morgan, and the whole filming company crew for everything
effort.
you do for us. Have a lovely day with Danny the Geordie tomorrow, and we'll be enjoying this at half time.
Well, actually, I'm going to share this with my mate John Yems.
Goodbye. Yeah, they are good.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Off I go.
That is all we have time for here on Talk of the Town. Thank you very much for joining us. We will see you next Tuesday back here at the People's Pension Stadium. From me, Harry, and the filming company crew, and the birthday boy.
Come on, Nick.
All together. Come on, you Reds! What a show! If you enjoyed it as much as we did, you need to subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit that bell icon so you can be notified about when we are next live here from Talk of the Town. Make sure you don't ever miss an episode, subscribe, hit the bell, and we will see you again very soon.